YouTuber Showdown! So, starting off, we got the Nerdrotic Gary versus Eric D. July, or Young Rippa. So, let's, Punk Waddle.
All right, so we've had these two. They've obviously climbed the ranks for the last few weeks. We know that they both have repertoire. They've got tricks in their belts. But here's the thing. It's a tough one. I mean, the Battle of the Beards, it's hard to say whose is. Gary's is probably bigger. We've also discussed Prison Gary and how that could probably... That's really helped him get to where he is. And then we have Rippa. He's got his own mixtape. He's got his own band. He's working on the Rippa verse.
And he grew up in the hood.
And so he's got all this stuff and all this creativity. You've got Gary on one side calling out everything that's going on. You got Rippa out there trying to create his own world. And then Gary comes to Texas. It's kind of a fugitive of a state. Well, Rippa's well established here. So I just think, Prison Gary or not, he's fleeing his part of the country, coming here, and Rippa's like, you know what? I respect you, Gary, but you're still from California, and we've got to make an example out of you. And I think he's just young. He's got the energy. I don't think even Prison Gary, maybe in his prime, but I'm thinking young Rippa. What's in his name? I think that when push comes to shove, Rippa would go more rounds.
Pat F., what are your thoughts?
Well, Punk Waddle stole a lot of the good points because they're all true. Rippa is a good, 20, 21 years younger than Gary. Was a college athlete, as he likes to say on his streams, and I don't know what sport he played, but I would think even
track and
lower
field
level. Okay, well, then,
track and field.
Yeah, at least he's probably got some stamina still. And I think the biggest thing you can't overlook is the fact that Rippa, born and raised in Dallas, and Gary Fresco. I don't know. I mean, how can you live there? Gary was there, 50 years? How can you live there and be as hard as somebody from Dallas? I don't see it. I think at the end of the day, with the age difference, and, I question too, I think Gary's in a good place right now. He's happy. Seems like he's kind of happy. Young Rippa seems angry all the time, and you got to get that ferociousness something. I think he might have the edge on this one. I really do.
So, Gary was a white guy in prison.
He also got called Goldilocks, though. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so there's some toughness there. However, we know Rippa is always hydrated, right?
Mhm.
And he's an athlete. He's been hydrated, and he looks for fights. Gary, at one time, obviously, he could handle himself in prison just fine. But Rippa's a black man on the streets, and that can't be any better than a white guy in prison in the States, from what your TV tells me. I'm gonna have to go with Rippa on this one. Yeah, Rippa.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Can Salty Texas C change the argument for the old guy? Old man strength. Will it happen?
If we're talking about a physical altercation, I'd certainly give. I think it would be very quick. I think for a lot of reasons, and I think it would be really down and dirty. I have not spent time in prison, thank God. So I don't know how that works, but I am 52 years old, and I'm sure Nerdrotic is in pretty darn good shape for his age. He seems to exercise all the time, but getting hit by somebody who is sort of young Rippa's frame and young Rippa's sort of body style, and also his height, his center of gravity is in a different place. And I think Nerdrotic's 6 feet tall, or a little bit more. The other thing, I mean, I guess let's be honest about it. 52, it's like an odometer on a car. It's just you can take a couple of the big hits, but you can't take a bunch of the big hits. So at the end of the day, if this is a physical altercation, I really think young Rippa would probably have to seek professional medical attention. But I think Gary would probably he'd just get hit too hard.
Okay, it's a battle, and
Feed the drama.
For some reason, when I look at Gary, I get this like baboon like feel with him that he's like he might be lengthy, but he has got that like he's got that jail like hey, I will scrap every last bit of energy.
Wait. I have to interrupt this.
Yeah.
You're calling him a balloon, and you're talking about jail. Put those two things together.
Gary from Nerdrotic.
I know. Think about it for 2 seconds.
I'm thinking.
What stands out about a baboon, and what stands out about jail?
Red asses.
Oh Jesus!
I think young Rippa still wins, but I think Gary, makes him pay a lot. He's not coming out clean. So.
Okay, so at this point, this is your chance to give your final vote, and so final votes are coming in. You just say the name, and that will be the winner. So, Punkwaddle, final vote, go.
Rippa.
Pat F.
Rippa.
Vax.
Rippa.
Salty.
Rippa. Let's do Rippa.
Yeah, Rippa.
And Flaccid, your vote is Rippa. Okay, so congratulations, Rippa, on being the winner. You won. So maybe you'll come on the show and defend your honor.
Definitely. I could see that.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Tomorrow.
You should definitely have the 2 semifinalists on. That'd be great, Dean.